Thank you. So welcome to the second instance of the Services Roadshow by Base4NFDI, where currently funded basic services pitch themselves, followed by a non-public Q&A session moderated by our team. We now start with KGI4NFDI, so the stage is yours. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hello. Thank you very much for attending this and for your interest in knowledge graph infrastructure. The slides that you see here, they are on Zenodo already. I pasted the link in the chat. It's 20 slides for 10 minutes. I'll speed up, but you can browse them at your own speed. We do have a structure for the talk, introduction, some use cases. We will briefly look at the initialization phase and then what the plans are for the integration phase, and most importantly, how you can get involved. Basic introduction is KGI stands for Knowledge Graph Initiative or Knowledge Graph Infrastructure. So the idea is to provide infrastructure and services around the existing or planned knowledge graphs within NFDI consortia. The KGI is currently in its initialization phase that has been extended until the end of the year. And here are two websites that you can use to find further information. So a bit of background, so why knowledge graphs and why the knowledge graph infrastructure for NFDI. Knowledge graphs are a way to structure knowledge and a way to structure it such that machines can handle it and that is also scalable. There are a number of standards in this space that we also try to leverage to integrate with other basic services. Knowledge graphs are already widely used in many research areas, including in the context of a number of NFDI consortia. The basic idea behind the knowledge graph is that you have different bits of knowledge that are interrelated. I'll briefly demonstrate this on the basis of this image here. So this image is a photograph of a part of a monument. The monument depicts Latin and Greek letters. The letters are part of a mathematical formula. The formula represents some physical concepts. The physical concepts describe a limit. The limit could be circumvented by engineering. The engineering got the Nobel Prize in chemistry. The chemistry is widely used in biology and medicine. And all of that has history and material, social and science, and other data aspects. For instance, the pedestal of the monument is actually the original that was used for another monument earlier that got destroyed during World War II. And so with that, you have some idea about how an individual piece of knowledge, an individual resource, can actually interact with lots of different fields, knowledge traditions, and also potentially NFDI consortia. And the question then is, how do we connect these things in a way that is useful, that allows to leverage the existing knowledge or to combine knowledge from different domains? In order to build knowledge graphs, there are a number of key ingredients that are necessary. First, you need to have a scope. You need to know what should go into the knowledge graph and what shouldn't. Then that includes like the entities and also the links between the entities. What kinds of links do you want to have there? You need to think about the data sources, like where should the information come from that you want to combine in the knowledge graph? What's the quality of the data? Do you have to do some pre-processing? What kind of access for humans and for machines is already there for this kind of data? What kind of access do you want to provide through your knowledge graph? How are the data licensed that you're using or that you are providing and integrating in your knowledge graph? Then in terms of metadata, what kind of schemas, what kind of data models are you using for the things you want to describe in the knowledge graph? And building these schemas requires domain knowledge. It requires information about provenance of the data and also potentially the schemas, and it requires mapping to external resources, particularly vocabularies. You have to think about storage, security, and performance issues, and you'll have to think a lot about workflows for bringing data in, for exporting data, for exploring data, and for curating the data in the knowledge graph. Here is a brief overview of which NFDI consortia are already using knowledge graphs. So they're highlighted here. And here you see the institutions that are involved in the KGI project. And here is a rough overview of what we're doing in the initialization phase. So we have a service hub that we set up that provides information about knowledge graphs in general and some in particular. We're providing consultancy services and also distilling them into guidelines for doing various things in knowledge graphs, for instance, how to formulate queries. We are working on an interoperability strategy such that the different knowledge graphs within NFDI and also beyond can actually talk to each other, can be used to leverage knowledge that sits in different parts of that knowledge graph ecosystem, and we're doing community engagement of the kind that you're experiencing right now. In order to do that, we are working with a number of tools, including personas, where we have imagined a number of potential users of knowledge graph services in NFDI contexts. And you can see them here. They are similar to what many other consortia are using. We use them to basically plan and discuss the services that we're building. Okay, one use case is to get an overview of the existing knowledge in a given domain. It would be nice to have a registry of knowledge graphs in that domain. We currently are not building this, but we have a registry of knowledge graphs already in NFDI, and we're working on integrating those NFDI knowledge graphs with knowledge graphs beyond. For that, we provide a search and query platform and query examples. Here is an example query. In order to get the data out of the database, you need to use a graph query language called Sparkle. And here's a sample query and also the sample results. This gives you the list of NFDI knowledge graphs registered in the knowledge graph registry that we have set up. Now, how can you interact with different knowledge graphs? First, you can find existing knowledge graphs within NFDI, within your field in general. You can use existing knowledge graphs either as a standalone thing or in combination with each other or with other resources. You could think about deploying your own knowledge graph, and you could increase the interoperability of knowledge graphs in your area. If you want to deploy your own knowledge graph, you will have to think about which technology to use. There are several options. We have described some of them on our hub. And you would have to make some decisions like which standards to follow and what operating procedures, which workflows, which permissions, these kind of things. Here you see an example of how the documentation looks like on our website for guidelines and introduction. As we're building this ecosystem of knowledge graphs within NFDI, we have to think about things that go beyond an individual knowledge graph. So for instance, which aspect of some resource should go into which knowledge graph? How should these details be modeled? How should the different knowledge graphs be enabled to talk about the same entity? How do we even define what the same entity is? And how can knowledge graph leverage other basic services, and how can they leverage knowledge graph technology? In the integration phase, the main thing you need to know is we plan to work with incubators. So if you have a project where you think, oh, I would like to try something with knowledge graphs, you can think about this together with us. Or if you're actually planning, if you're running another project that has incubator-like things or flex funds or something like this, you could also think about a knowledge graph component to that, and we would be happy to collaborate. Yeah, so to get involved, you can share your knowledge graph related use cases, integration needs, or existing knowledge graphs in your domains, data models that you would be interested in using. Yeah, you could plan an incubator. You can attend some of our consulting sessions every third Wednesday of the month at 3 p.m. You can access our resources and provide feedback. You can check out our website. And here's the quiz question. I don't know how this is administered. And in the end, we do have a mailing list, and you can reach us this way. And of course, the slides are available on Zenodo. And with that, I hand back.